Hello, my name is John Phelan, and I'm the lead pastor of West Salem Foursquare Church. I want to take a few moments to share some pastoral thoughts with you that I believe will serve our congregation in these particularly challenging times. And I'd like to wrap up with 2 action points for us moving forward. These points of pastoral direction are intended for the church that I lead and for those that call me pastor. Certainly, there are maybe others viewing this video or reading this content today or in the days or weeks to come, and they may not be directly a part of our congregation. That's the internet for you, friends. But I just want to be clear. This communication is for the members and attenders of West Salem Foursquare Church. Over the last couple of weeks, there's been many opinions. There's much widespread commentary regarding the handling of COVID-19, this pandemic, the reopening of Oregon, and a calling for a return to normal as it applies to church life and the meeting again of large public gatherings. I think we can agree that there are a lot of conflicting and confusing voices. You know, it's been said that if you find 3 people talking, there will be 5 opinions, right? I trust many, if not most of those voices are well-meaning, and they even come from people of strong moral character and even godly intent by and large. But the primary question on most people's minds is this: when can our church meet in person for Sunday gatherings? Now, I want to address that as your pastor, especially at this specific time in which we may be hearing of congregations in other states, perhaps even those in Oregon, that may be making plans to reopen soon or perhaps even begun to meet already in some form or fashion. At West Salem Foursquare Church, we, as of May 15th, have chosen to wait. We've chosen to continue meeting virtually in our online campus and to take a prayerful, careful, and submitted approach to reopening our church's large public gatherings. Okay, first and foremost, we are to be prayerful, right? During this season and beyond, right? Join us as we call upon the Lord. This is so important. We want His will to be done. We want His kingdom to come. I think you agree. We also want to be careful out of love for our congregation, for our city, for our valley. We simply are not experts on COVID-19, on viruses or pandemics, okay? So we're choosing to be on the side of being careful. Now, there are certainly those that would want us to be more conservative in our approach. There are those that would want us to be more aggressive and move more aggressively. We all have our personal opinions on these matters, and so do I. Okay, I know how many of you must feel because these circumstances are a lot to process. But for our congregation, we are going to take a careful approach. As well, we are choosing, as we learn in Romans chapter 13, as well as in the entire life of Jesus, to be submitted to governing authorities and follow the guidelines that have been established for large public gatherings. We're going to continue to do so as long as those guidelines are not discriminatory against the church, right? And I don't believe they are yet. Okay, could that happen? Sure. There certainly is a time for pushing back, asserting our religious rights as citizens. Again, I do not believe we are there yet. We appear to be treated as the same as all other large gatherings like sporting events and concerts. So we have chosen to be submitted to the governing authorities. Now, please be praying for them. there's a lot coming at them at a rapid pace. And so we'll continue to review the current guidelines, as well as we're formulating plans for our eventual reopening when that time comes. Okay, which brings me back to the question, when can our church meet in person for Sunday gatherings? Now, there's a lot of factors to consider, and you may know that there are phases to move through. In phase 1, groups are limited to 25 people or less. In phase 2, group size can increase to 50. It's only in phase 3 in which large gatherings are again allowed. The Sunday services of West Salem Foursquare Church would be considered a large gathering, even if we provide multiple services. And I believe we're still some months away from meeting in person for Sunday services, especially since the recent announcement from the governor's office regarding large gatherings being off limits through at least September. Some pastoral leaders may choose to go a different route. Okay, there's no judgment. That's their decision. I, however, as pastor of West Salem Foursquare Church, in biblical submission to governing authorities, as well as our Foursquare denomination, have chosen to lead us in these two very specific ways. The first is an ongoing online campus presence. Okay? We will continue to broadcast worship, teaching, and pastoral direction via our online services. As a matter of fact, we anticipate continuing to provide our online campus even after we're allowed to meet in our normal settings, because there's such an incredible reach that we're experiencing and we've already had in our community. It's helping many people encounter Jesus. And so we encourage you, be an inviter to people, to friends and family, to our online services. Our weekly Church at Home, we're calling it, services, they premiere every Sunday at 9 a.m. And then they're available whenever you like to watch on demand. And for now, our online campus is a primary way that we're going to stay connected and unified as a congregation. The second is house churches. House churches. I've sensed the Spirit's leading for some time now, and I've received multiple points of confirmation that it is time for us to launch a network of house churches in which 10 to 15 people, really up to 25 max per the guidelines, can gather weekly for care, for prayer, for the breaking of bread, as well as worship, teaching, and pastoral direction as provided by our online campus. WSFC house churches will begin as soon as possible, depending on the respective counties being opened up into phase 1. And house churches will be all over Willamette Valley, and they'll be facilitated by godly leaders, by apprentices, by hosts with the gift of hospitality. And I'm pretty excited about this. I'm excited about this very Book of Acts like, scattered church all throughout our region. We may be collectively apart for a while, but we're actually very together and united in Jesus. And so please be praying for us, your pastoral leaders here at West Salem Foursquare, as we try our best to come up with creative ministry solutions, as well as discern the heart and mind of the Lord in these days. And just know this, just like the early church, the early church we've been studying during our weekend services online, we will thrive. We will thrive. Okay, not just merely survive, right? But truly and absolutely thrive. The church has left the building and will be better for it in Jesus' name. We love you dearly.